health and safety in the workplace. 4 leading causes of death on construction sites are falls, electrocution, being struck by an object, and stuck in between. In this video, we will be going into detail on falling. Can falling be prevented? Robert says yes. Employers need to provide a safe workplace for their employees. But how? HR must follow rules and regulations and health and safety standards. HR should provide an employee handbook, safety policies, and specific training information for specific jobs. HR needs to comply with state and federal regulations, which include OSHA and L&I. OSHA applies to all organizations and assures a safe and healthful working environment. L&I is responsible for administering the requirements under Washington law. In the following video, we will demonstrate the proper way to use a ladder to avoid falling.
Oh, hi. My name is Robert and Breeze, and some people call me Safety Ball. To you, I'm going to be demonstrating the components of a ladder and how to use it correctly and incorrectly, how a lot of people tend to use it. For example, first of all, when you get a ladder, make sure that it's nice and stable. This is the improper way of doing it. The proper way of doing it is make sure it's nice and flat as well. Another thing is that never climb the ladder backwards. There's only one way of climbing it. This is not the proper way of doing it. If I see someone as a safety professional doing this, I'll take them aside and talk to them, and as well probably show them how to do it correctly if they don't know how. When you start climbing the ladder, there's just different little components. For example, on this ladder, this is the max you can go. Why, you might ask? It doesn't matter what ladder, if it's this one or another tall one or smaller one. Never ever climb a ladder from the second last step and up. That is very unsafe. If I would see that, I would probably write them up for sure. Another thing is that when you're working on it, on a ladder, you're gonna have to have 3 contacts. What that means is that when you're climbing up a ladder, you're gonna have to have 3 contacts with the ladder at a time. 1, 2, and 3. Because if you only have 2, that's a safety hazard. So if you're carrying something and then you're gonna have to climb, that's a safety hazard as well. Another thing is that about this ladder, and for example, let's say you're using a different type of ladder, one that goes against the wall, right? Well, for every 4 steps, and how you might ask, how do I know if it's in 4 steps? Pretty much from here to here is a foot. So 1, 2, 3, 4. For every 4 that you're gonna climb and stuff like that, you're gonna have to kick it a foot more. So 1 foot there, you're gonna have to kick it at least 1 foot apart, so it can stay there for sure. And if you're using a long ladder, make sure that 3 to 4 rungs are stepping outside of it. For example, you're working on the roof, make sure it's staying out. As well is that if it's barely touching, like for example, it's just barely touching, what you have to do is tie it down. Or you can you get one that's 4 and as well tie it down. And while you're climbing up there, make sure you have a partner that can hold up the ladder while you go up there. Another thing is that a ladder, most of them are made out of metal. So make sure that while you're working at anything, there's no exposed wires. If not, you can be electrocuted. Another thing about the ladder I wanted to mention is that when you're working with the ladder, don't tippy toe to reach one. Just go, or don't overextend the reach, because that's when hazards happen. When you feel that you're most interacting, you feel like you're really confident on what you're doing, that's when accidents happen the most. So another thing, instead of tippy toeing or reaching, just go get another ladder or just move it. you know, because accidents can happen like this. So that's pretty much about everything about ladder safety, the most common things that you should look out for.
Choosing the proper ladder is important to avoid falling. Here are the different types of ladders and their uses. Here are some examples of different ladders. A school maintenance worker fell from an 8-foot step ladder after standing on the last step and overextending his reach. Because of the fall, he now suffers permanent brain damage, and the school was cited by L&I for not providing proper safety training. Managers will observe employees to ensure they are using proper procedures while using a ladder. We would like to thank Safety Bob for helping us with our training video.